Hey guys, Mackay here with Ironside Ranch. I'm sorry we didn't get a video out last week. Just been really busy getting ready. We got some new pigs coming, and so what I wanted to do today is I kind of wanted to go over and show you our operation for what we have for feeder pigs and how we handle them. And then I also wanted to go over what we're using for feed right now, and so that way you guys can kind of figure out exactly how to feed your pigs and how you want to get them set. Okay, so you can see we've got these rain barrels behind us, these 55-gallon drums. These are all food-grade containers that hold our hog feed up here. Keeps everything nice and dry because we set these up here on this hilltop, so there's no cover up here. There'll be a little bit of cover over here for the pigs, but there's no actually established cover over here. I have no barn, no nothing. It's really just the shelter here, you can see. All right, so let's talk about the pen that we set up here for our pigs. You can see we use cattle panels to hold them in. This gives us a way to lock the pigs up that they absolutely cannot get out of, that no matter how hard they press on these things, they're not breaking. The only thing they can do is pull those staples out. We do use 2-inch staples for the cattle panels. I haven't seen the pigs be able to rip those out yet. Suppose if they got really hungry, they could. But this gives us a nice place to lock them up. So if we want to leave for a weekend and we don't want the house sitter having to worry about rotating animals around because it's a high school kid that's just not familiar with our operation, this gives us the ability to lock them up. We then just pay for a little bit extra feed to give them, and they get fed straight feed instead of being on pasture for those 2 or 3 days. So that gives us some nice capabilities there. The other thing is when we have a storm coming in, we do like to lock them up here. Now you can see we're not quite finished yet. I don't have the gate on over on this side, so this is getting added here. And then obviously we don't have any shelter in here for them, so the back half of this is going to get some metal laid over the top of it. We had that hurricane came through here the other day and ripped a bunch of barns down, so I'm actually going to drive around here a little bit later today and see if I can go find some metal for free to actually put up on these. And just anybody that's scrapping all their metal, I'm gonna put a little bit of steel up here, and that should give us plenty of cover for the pigs. Be really nice shade for them, and we'll have that here on the back end. Now the last thing you also don't see up here is you don't see water. We don't have a permanent water source up here. We have to run, right now we have hoses on the ground that run up here, and we'll have a 55-gallon drum in here with the pig nipples on it that you guys have seen in other videos. That's soon going to change. We're actually going to run a hydrant up here and have some permanent water up here. But we'd also like to put a cistern up top, and that'll give us some more capabilities. If I have a cistern up here, I can put a solar pump on that and feed that from our creek. And then this is the highest point on our property, so this would actually allow me to run water sources from here all over the property. Now we'll do a video on that here a little bit later. We're going to get probably about 10,000 gallons worth of cisterns right up here, since this is the highest peak on our property, and we'll feed those with a small 12-volt solar pump from our creek, and that'll just give us tons of water over this whole course of property. So that'll be coming, but for right now, like I said, we've just got hosing laying on top of the ground, and that runs up here to actually give us water for the hogs up top. That's how we're enclosing our pigs. So it's a rectangle, so it's 2 each side, and then 1 on the front and the back. On the front, one of them will be hinged on one end so that I can open it as a gate. But it saves me money rather than spending $150 on a gate. I can spend 20 bucks on a hog panel, and it holds them in just the same. The pigs don't care. And this is a gate that will eventually be left open. So the hogs will raise here for a couple weeks, and then after that we'll run temporary fencing to in a pie shape going down. So you can see here we're up on the hilltop, and the hilltop, it kind of circles around, and it's got a 5-acre pasture basically that ends on this hilltop. From that top of that, we'll set little sections looking like a piece of pie going down towards the perimeter fence, and this is kind of our sacrificial area. This will get beat up real bad, but we'll have the water up here, we have the food up here, and it makes it real easy if we put those pies on them. And then because the pig fencing is all there on the ground, and it only has to be about a foot off the ground for that temporary fencing, we can step right over it. We keep the pigs off of us while we're trying to feed them and deal with that. Makes it very easy. Pigs get plenty of pasture then to run around on, and so they get nice good exercise, which creates that succulence in the meat. But more than that, they will get to actually live like a pig. They get we'll get good quality, that kind of nice red tint to our meat. We'll get real good quality meat. We can raise any pigs like this. The batch we're doing this time is Hampshires. the eventual goal for us, as you guys have seen, we have the Kune breeding stock. We're actually trying to breed those out, and we want about 10 to 15 sows for the Kunis because they make great mothers and because they have great temperaments and they can put on a lot of weight off of pasture. We're going to crossbreed that with a Duroc and then maybe the Tamsworth down the road, but we're going to start it with a Duroc because it'll counterbalance some of the negatives of the Kune, the negatives being slow growth and lots of fat, and that Duroc being a little bit more lean and a faster growing pig should hopefully process some of that out. It should allow us to end up with a pig that gets to about 250 pounds, somewhere between 8 and 10 months down the road, so a little bit slower than normal, but it'll grow predominantly on pasture, so we only have to have a feed supplement. And those pigs, the meat quality should be really good with great marbling in there, with good temperaments on the pig. So really should allow us a decent breeding stock of pigs. And then, like I said, we might at some point in time take some of the sows from those and crossbreed them later on with a Tamworth, and just kind of see how that goes. Just some of the characteristics of the Tamsworth I like. So that's one of our kind of long-term plans. To tell you guys exactly what we're doing here with our feed, let me readjust this camera here. We do a non-GMO feed. Now this one is actually ground here in Alabama, but you can see GMO-free, pellet form, no soy. This is a pig feed. This is from Tucker Milling. Tucker Milling is located in Guntersville, Alabama. They're just a really good local grain mill for us. We got this through one of their dealers, so I think next time we might try to see if we can get it directly from them and see if we can save a little bit on the cost. But I'd love to try to get a video in their processing plant and actually go down there and talk to some of them. So if anybody watching knows anybody down there that can kind of get me connected with the right people, that would be a big help. I'd love to go down there and show you guys, do some video and show you what their facility looks like and everything, so we can see what we're getting. But like I said, so this is all formulated pig feed from Tucker Milling. Just a good quality feed. The pigs seem to really like it. We've tried lots of different things. We've tried straight corn, we've tried straight soy, we've tried different mixed feeds, but really what we wanted a non-GMO feed. I'm not so particular with the breeding stock, but I really do want our meat pigs to be non-GMO so that we can advertise them as such. So all of our meat pigs are raised on pasture with non-GMO, and we sell them by the whole or by the half. Obviously they have to pick it up from the butcher based off the meat laws and everything on how that all works out, but that's how we sell them. If you're around Birmingham area or central Alabama and this is what you're looking for, you can reach us on our website at ironsideranchlc.com, and you can get a hold of us there if you want to purchase some pigs. We do still have a few left, but we've got a bunch coming here at the end of the month. We'll have a bunch more that we'll be adding throughout, and so this will create several sections of like I said, of that pie shape to allow different growth rates of the pigs. So ones that are 5 months old can be in a separate section versus ones that are 1 month old. That way we're not having quite as much competition for the feed. And that's really it, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to go over some of our feeding and how we're setting up our pig operation up here for you. This will be, like I said, this is going to be the pig operation for the next couple of years, and then it's actually going to move to another set of pasture on the other side of the road as we continue to clear land. We're using the pigs to really kind of rough things up. We have picked out the cattle breed that we wanted, and so we should be getting cattle here in the springtime. I'm not going to talk anything about the breed until we actually get them here on the farm, just in case we change our minds on something. But we're pretty sold on a specific breed that we want for the farm. So we'll discuss more of that later. Be a great breed for any of the homesteader, small farmers, and that sort of thing. So we will talk a little bit more about that later. But like I said, I don't want to really mention that until we actually get the cows here and that we're happy with them and everything like that. So the pigs, like I said, they do a great job of actually rooting everything up and turning scrubland into great pasture land, kind of looking for that silvo pasture, because obviously they're not going to take out the big trees, and they just do a wonderful job converting. So if anybody has any questions, please post it in the comment box. We do love to see all that. I know pig feed isn't the most exciting topic, but really important to figure out exactly how much you're feeding, and Remember, the feed, if they're raised on pasture, the feed is just a supplement. It's not the primary. This just supplements what they would normally be getting in nature from being able to look around for more feed, and replaces some of that. But they can really get a lot out of soil. They can get a lot out of bare soil, guy. When they moonscape an area, they're still able to get food out of it. There's trace minerals in the soil. There's grubs and worms and stuff in there that they're still rooting around getting, and they just do a wonderful job getting all that biological life into their system. So remember, your feed should just be a supplement. This is not the primary, unless you're like a CAFO, a confined area feeding operation. Then obviously this is the primary. But when you're raising them on pasture, the pasture should be the primary feed for them. Okay, guys, you can see here for our feed, we use these 55-gallon barrels. These ones, obviously, the ones with the removable top, and they do have a good locking lid on them. Keeps all the critters and everything out of here, and obviously keeps the water out of here as well. Now, you can see we have this area here. Eventually, there's going to be a small lean-to over here that'll keep this out of the weather a little bit more. And we actually have more barrels we're adding to this. So we want about 16 barrels on site. That's kind of our eventual goal for this. We use these barrels all over the farm, but I want 16 barrels up here for the pigs. So one barrel holds about 300 pounds of feed, so 10 barrels gives me 1.5 tons of feed. So 16 gives me right at about 2.5 tons, a little bit less than 2.5 tons of feed. That is a great amount for how many hogs that we do. And we do have to fill it up several times throughout the course of the hog's life, but this allows us to go for a pretty extended period of time before we get up and get more feed. Getting more feed is a little bit of a hassle. We buy it for 2 tons at a time. A ton is a pallet, so my truck, having an 8-foot bed, can carry 2 pallets. With the dualies, it has no problem with the weight. So we buy 2 tons at a time. And we go down, there's a place about 1.5 hours from here that we go to get it, and that's the big reason why we want to have all that feed on hand, is just because when we go to do it, it takes us half a day. We lose half a day doing it. The other issue is if there's any traffic, we lose the whole day. That's kind of a hassle. There's not a place near us that has quality GMO feed for a reasonable price. We've called all the grain mills around us that we can find, and they want too much for the price of the feed, and it just doesn't work out for us. We really need a good quality feed source local, but we do have to go a little bit further up north to get it. Thanks again for watching, guys. Remember, IronsideRanchLLC.com if you want any pork or just want to check out our website there. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and like the video. That does really help us out. Visit us on Facebook too, because Amanda Lynn does like to post on